Welcome to Real Talk with Nivoda, and today we'll be chatting with James, our Chief Product Officer here at Nivoda, about how he listens to customers' needs and builds for those requirements. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, James.
Well, thank you for having me, man.
We'll kick it off with your background, what you've done in your career, and what led you to Nivoda and why you joined.
Sure. Well, I joined Nivoda, as you know, as the Chief Product Officer. Prior to that, I worked for a number of years at Amazon, about 7 years there. Latterly, I was leading the Prime program in the UK and Europe. I did some other things for them as well. I led some categories and I was a product manager on supply chain and things like that. And why did I join Nivoda? Well, I guess a key theme in what I've tried to do with my career the last 10 years or so is to work in innovation. Companies that believe passionately in innovating on behalf of customers. And I wanted to get an opportunity to join a smaller organization, an organization that was doing exciting things in its industry, in order to really have an impact and be able to lead some exciting innovations in an industry that at the time I knew very little about and that I'm still learning about. But it's been a lot of fun so far.
When we say Chief Product Officer, we're not talking about the product of engagement rings or diamonds or jewelry, are we? What is product and what do we mean by a Chief Product Officer?
Product and product management, I guess, is something that's evolved in technology companies primarily this century. So probably in the last 20 years, companies like Amazon, companies like Google, Microsoft. And it essentially involves the process of using technology to innovate the customer experience. So when we talk about product, or when I talk about product, I guess at its simplest, I'm talking about the website and the experience of buying through Nivoda. And all of the things that have to go into creating that, building a platform, building features on top of that platform, and the whole experience of using that platform. So that's kind of what I own. As far as possible, when you're trying to develop a new product, scope a new product, plan a new product, you work backwards from the customer.
It's really starting with a specific pain point of the customer and working and building and solving a problem around the operations of that actual thing running. So we went in and we said, okay, we're going to help you with your diamond delivery service. And we started doing it manually. We built technologies to automate the process around the actual event. And that's how we've done it with everything else as well. We're really going deep and we're making sure like the diamonds get delivered on time. Your payments get reconciled as quickly as possible. You've got accurate IDQ, we call it, item description quality. So the right videos, the right availability, reducing the sold out rate. And this is really the core focus of this year, and improving the architecture and the foundations of the website and the service and the performance, so that next year we're in a position where we can add all of the adjacent products that our customers want. So for us to have everything, we started with natural diamonds, we added lab grown, we added star and melee, which you can buy on the platform now, and we've added colored gemstones. It will be the everything store for the jewelry industry is the vision of the company. And then on the other side of it, we're talking about the operating system to be able to run your business on the platform, right? So everything that you need to do, from showing feeds on your website to having a virtual in-store sales experience, from having a ring builder, a pendant builder, or to have point of sale service within the store, all the way to having sales commission structure for your team. This is to run your business on the platform, operating system and everything store.
And we haven't even spoken about fees much, but as you know, I think this is just a critical part of our business. It's a critical part of what makes us valuable to our customers. And it's something where I think we've only just started. I think you guys, before I joined as well, did a good job of staying very customer obsessed. And it's an easy thing to say. But I think you did listen, and we still have mechanisms today like, you know, the feedback channel where customer feedback just gets put there by some of our teams who are on the front line talking to customers. And it's not always good. It's not always good, and it's very important that you hear when things are going wrong. And we do, and sometimes it's quite hard to hear that. We also spend a little bit of time thinking about the good feedback. And, you know, just last week I saw one customer, I think in North America, saying just thank you, and that they felt that if we hadn't been around, they might not have made it the last few months. That's the kind of thing that makes it worthwhile getting up in the morning. I remember being with you as well last year in Vegas, and there was that guy ran out after us and said, "Are you Nivoda? You've changed everything." And that's the kind of thing that sticks with you. But in order to get to the feedback like that, often you've got to go through the stuff that doesn't work, and that's how you learn about the things you need to improve.
Thinking about product design and scoping and working back from the customer like you've been speaking about, that's exactly how we started this business in the beginning. I took it from my own experience of what happened. And I was running an online retailer. I'd sold 8 engagement rings for the day, and I took the 8 certificate numbers for those diamonds and I pasted it into a listing site that I would use to find diamonds around the world. And when I clicked search, it showed me that it was from 7 different manufacturers. And that's what it was. My pain was how much work I'm going to have to go through to speak to these suppliers. And if it was a first one, it was a KYC with passports and filling out the forms and all of that work. Then it was negotiating a price, asking the supplier to send me an invoice, and I'd make a transfer because they didn't know me. They wouldn't send me the stone until the money had cleared, and then only then could we book a shipment. And to think about doing that 7 times, the idea was, why can't we make this industry, purchasing from the global industry, as easy as add to cart and check out? And that's what we built it around, a simple idea of add to cart and check out, so I can get back to doing what I need to do in my company to grow my business and serve my customers.
Yeah, sometimes I guess it's not rocket science, right? Sometimes it's really just listening to customers, and there's been lots of examples of that in the last couple of years. It was simply customers were telling us, "I want to pay with card." So we added that. It wasn't easy, but we added it. A customer wanted to be able to get a matching pair. We figured it out. We launched it. Customer wanted a new filter, right? They want to be able to filter on this kind of stone. And so you add it because you think, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And a lot of the time it's really just as simple as that.
What is your method of listening to the customer? And also, if for any of our viewers that want to provide you with feedback that they would like to change to the product or the service, how would they go about doing that?
One I'll probably call out that I think we've invested in quite a lot the last 18 months is our research team. Those guys spend all of their days talking to customers. We have a network within our customer base of user champions, and they're often the first port of call, but they're not the only port of call. Depending on what it is we want to learn about, we will go out to that segment of users and we will just ask them, can you spend some time with us? We will also do surveys. And sometimes the team works on a consolidated bit of research that will combine customer anecdotes and qualitative feedback with data and wider research across the industry. But it's absolutely critical.
We're getting asked by customers, please can you work out how to shorten the time between when I pay and when my account's updated so that I can buy more products? That we call payment reconciliation time. What's been happening there? What's been the feedback? What have we been working on? And what do you see for the roadmap into the future?
We're invoicing and transferring funds across more than 60 countries globally, and we're working, as you know, in several developing countries. So payments, invoicing, reconciliation, and of course credit, right? We're also managing working capital, payment terms, and credit. In many ways, we are a fintech or a financial operation on behalf of our customers. And the ways that we've looked at trying to innovate and refine that operation, I think, fall into two buckets. One is operational excellence and execution. At the end of the day, you can have the best technology in the world. If you don't resource it properly, if you don't have the right processes in place, the right management in place, you're not going to run an effective operation. And that's got nothing to do with technology, and that's true for pretty much any business. The second area is more around, I guess, the technology and the innovation. What it does mean is that there's some good technology out there, and there is an opportunity to partner with some very exciting capabilities which are really making it easier for companies like us to give our customers the kind of financial experience, billing experience, payments experience that they want at scale and globally. And so, as you know, we've partnered with one of the better known payments platforms who have a pretty good product at scale. They certainly have significant geographic coverage, which is important for us. We've also partnered with a much smaller, much less well-known company that I think has done some incredible things on what you asked about in your question. So transaction flow and payment reconciliation and invoice reconciliation. We've already applied this technology to a significant pool of our customer base globally. And it basically just enables them to pay us and to make international transactions as if they were making a local transaction. As far as they're concerned, that's what it means. There's a lot going on to enable that, but as far as they're concerned, it's one place to send the money, one currency, as though you were paying a local bank. The technology is called virtual walleting, but from a customer's point of view, that's what it means. For the portion of our customer base that we've managed to expand this to, I think that the percentage of our invoicing that's now what we call auto-reconciled is around 85%. And rising as we sort of combine more of the marginal use cases. And over the next 2 or 3 months, we'll roll that out to all of our customers globally. And it's made a huge difference both for us and our customers. And yeah, I'm sure the company that we're working with will be very successful.
So the question, I've paid for this and my account hasn't been updated for me to buy new stuff, is soon going to be a thing of the past.
To a significant degree, yes.
The key idea of Nivoda in the beginning was really to be able to sell virtually. Right, to have a zero inventory business model and be able to showcase 1.6 million or 2 million diamonds that are available from all around the world. Like if I'm a retailer, it doesn't matter where I am, any city in the US or Canada or Europe or Australia or wherever in the world, I can showcase 1.6 million diamonds to my customer and be able to sell that diamond before having to place the order. And it gives me the best price in the world, which makes me as competitive as I need to be and gives me as much margin as possible. This was the key idea which really Nivoda was built to solve and to serve to the industry globally. And as we created that buy button where you can check out and buy from the whole industry, our investors that we have on board today saw the retention metrics of anyone who joined us, right? So any retailer who joined would stay with us. It would permanently change their business forever. And they were able to see that from the metrics from our underlying business that's running. And that's why they've invested $46 million. When they've seen this type of transaction, they see this type of behavior, they see this type of adoption and retention, they say that this is a high-speed train that is changing an industry forever.
I think I had a sense of the power of that then. And I remember I've told you before, at my former company, I went to a big presentation about all the different online categories with my former company, and they called out diamonds, which was the surveys that they'd done in the United States about whether retail customers would be prepared to buy a diamond online. And they called it out because they were so blown away by it. The number was 58%. Of surveyed consumers in the United States would be happy to buy a diamond or an engagement ring online. And that blew them away so much that they called it out. Bear in mind, the number for books is about 80. There's a number of people who just won't buy a book online still today. So 58% for a category like diamonds, where you would think that presence and proximity and needing to see it before you buy it would be disproportionately large factors, actually weren't such significant factors. They want the best available selection, they want the best price. And these factors can play out in exactly the same sort of ways, but I think that's quite a revolutionary idea, or certainly was a revolutionary idea a few years ago in the industry. And I think it's a big change that we're helping facilitate, and hopefully a change for the better.
One of the big ones that we keep getting asked for is memo. Memo, APRO, memo. We hear it all day, every day. When can members of Nivoda expect to be able to use memo, and how's it going to work?
We launched in Europe and the United States a fast last mile delivery. So that's typically 1 to 2 days. In the US, it might be 3, but generally 2 days or less fast delivery. So what we're going to do with Memo, and we're going to do it this year, we're going to be launching a product that sits on that logistics capability, where people who want to access stones where they can basically return as much of that inventory as they want or need to will be able to do that. Businesses and suppliers often don't like returns because it's expensive and it's a challenge in a number of different ways. When we were scoping it, we spent quite a lot of time talking to people who had been in the industry longer than I had about what they wanted, what they needed, and what they felt would work for them. Because there are just some things here which are different. But I think it's something which can potentially transform the way we work with our customers over the long term, and which I think will enable us to give a better service where they need a high return rate. And for them, I think it's hopefully something which will bring millions of stones sourced from all over the world at the best prices, will bring those and enable them to access at least some of those at prices that they haven't been used to, but with a service level that they have. That's the goal. And we might not get there on day one, but we will get there, I think, and we will get there hopefully soon.
So given that diamonds are a high value item, yeah, a lot of our customers were asking, can I please have 30 and 60-day payment terms? We've introduced that, but it wasn't an easy road, was it, James?
No, and it still isn't, and I don't expect it will be in the future, but we now see adoption, as you say, it's over 60% now. This is something that means a lot to our customers. It means a lot to them to have customizable payment terms so that they can manage their cash flows and working capital in the way that suits their business. And you're right, it has been a painful journey, but I think it's something that we have innovated around. And I think we've done the right thing, because ultimately where we came from, customers need this. How do we solve that problem?
Most people would say that it's impossible to give tens of thousands of companies, tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars credit each, no?
Yeah, people have said that to me. People have probably said that to you. We've worked with partners. We've done it in-house. We've done a combination of both. We use financial technology to make it easier for customers and easier for us. When I joined, which was less than 2 years ago, it was less than 30% of transactions were using it. Now we're almost 2/3. That tells you that the demand is there. And I'm sure it will continue to grow.
And Memo Apro sort of feels like it falls in the same bucket, right?
Yeah.
You got to be crazy to do that. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, we've had that comment just in the last few weeks, haven't we? Oh, you guys are crazy. We haven't launched it yet, so they might be right. But no, I don't think they're crazy. I think even if we have some problems at the start, we'll sort it out, just like with credit. We'll learn, we'll test and we'll learn, and we'll make it work. I don't think it's impossible at all. But yeah, there's always people who tell you that. What's that saying? The people who say they can and the people who say they can't, they're both right.
What we've noticed with the customers that are the most successful are the ones that are running a connected journey. So they're attracting business online, but also bringing them in store. But while they're in store, selling them in a virtual sales method as well. So it's bringing them in store to shake hands, to be someone that you can trust to give you a great deal, and also to give you something that your partner is going to be proud to wear. I think that's the relationship aspect that we're talking about.
When I first joined the company, it wasn't quite the product that I would have wanted it to be, but also it took me a while to get my head around whether this was something, that our customers would really engage with and would really adopt. And I think now we're starting to see that they are. And I think it's around that kind of hybrid model that you're describing, right? This kind of getting to that perfect combination of in-store with also virtual selling and zero inventory, and using both of those as ways to optimize your business, but also improve the experience to the person walking into the store. I think this is something that will evolve. It will continue to evolve. There will be innovations, some of them by us, some by others.
We're growing at more than double per year. So the more that we're seeing retailers take on this style of selling, they become more competitive to their neighbors around them. And we're seeing that happen in different geographies. So UK, for example, was one that we came into very early, and that was the first market that we went into. And we've seen a very large group of the customers have adopted it. And we're seeing that across the US and Canada now as well, getting to that tipping point.
If you think about all of these things that we're doing which contribute to that virtual sale or zero inventory model, it's the significant driver of the business, and will continue to be, I think.
that really leaves us with Nivoda focusing on depth this year in 2024, making sure that the diamonds are delivered fast, the invoicing is reconciled quickly, that the videos are working, that everything is working well, and we're providing the very best customer experience we possibly can, and also putting ourselves into a position where we're able to scale across all of those different product categories that we want next year. And thanks for joining us on the show today, James.
It's been my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
And join us next month for another episode of Real Talk with Nivoda.